What is up, NASCAR Heat fans? David Land here, ready for the Kansas race. And as you can see, we were able to make some upgrades to our shop. The car won't affect the performance of the car, but it will allow us, once we've made a little bit more dinero, to really start to improve this car. And as you can see, the sponsorship stayed the same. We're 8th place in the chase standings as well, locked in right now with 1 win, and we're in on points to extend kind of that solidarity or solidity or solidify our standing in the chase standings, if that makes any sense. You're looking at the qualifying results right now, and you're not going to see my name for a while, and not because I'm at the bottom of the list, but because I am much closer to the top of the list, waiting for it to cycle around, and you'll see me in 6th position, just 2/10 off of the pole sitter Brad Keselowski. And I've never felt this confident on a 1.5 mile in NASCAR Heat Evolution. A 5th place qualifying effort is fantastic, and I think we have a really good shot of, or 6th place rather, I think we've got a really good shot of translating this one into a win. So let's hand it over to Rick Allen and get racing here at Kansas.
Today we're in Kansas, but Dorothy is nowhere to be found. And this definitely isn't the yellow brick road. Today we're getting set for the Go Bowling 400 here at Kansas Speedway. This venue has a little bit of everything. Great food, first-class casino, and incredible on-track racing.
Alright, and here we come down for the green flag here at Kansas. We're underway. The Penske's are across the front row. Truex and Johnson just ahead of us, as well as Carl Edwards, and here comes Kevin Harvick down to the inside. Clearly still we don't have that horsepower to really drive away on the start, but we do have the grip. As you can see, we come through turn number 2 and have a good run onto the back straightaway. So clearly the acceleration isn't there, but the grip is. And into turn number 3 once again, to the outside of Jimmy Johnson, to the outside of Carl Edwards, and to the outside of Joey Logano. Can't quite clear Logano or Edwards at that point, but we're going to hang it around the outside, get into the draft of Logano. Try to swing around the outside here, going into turn 2. It's going to be Logano pulling up right in my path, so we're going to be 3 wide once again. And that allows Harvick, that loss of momentum, to clear me on the bottom of the track. I'll lift right in the center of the corner, get the car kind of wiggling and waggling off of the corner, and we'll actually clear both Edwards and Truex, or not Truex, but Edwards and Logano and Harvick. Now we go underneath Truex. I was trying to call that too early, and underneath Truex we go, and now we've got the preferred bottom line, which always seems to be the preferred line in NASCAR Heat Evolution. And now we set off in pursuit of Brad Keselowski. Hopefully we can keep Mr. Harvick behind us as well. It seems like 3 and 4 is definitely our best corner. I think this is also the track that you start your NASCAR Heat Evolution career in, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of a significant track for whatever reason in the NASCAR Heat Evolution universe. We're only 2/10 off of what we qualified at, so that is a good race pace if we can maintain it. Right down on the yellow line there. I'm maybe flirting with disaster there by running down that close to it, but you gotta run that danger zone sometimes if you want to win. Oh boy. Like I said, I was really trying to catch up with Keselowski there. Now I'm gonna have to play a little bit dirty with Harvick here, going into turn number 1. Johnson's gonna go down to the inside. Is he gonna make the pass? No, he's not. So now I'm gonna try to gain that momentum back that I lost to Keselowski. I'm kind of hoping we run into some lap traffic here in a bit, because I feel like if I can pass Keselowski, I think we're really going to be able to set sail once we get into the traffic. I did a practice session just before qualifying, and we were running in traffic, and I was able to pass cars with quite a bit of ease. So I'm feeling good about once we get into the lappers that will be able to be very strong. Kind of like at Bristol, except for this is a 1.5 mile oval. Obviously much more room and much higher speeds. Now we're in that draft of Keselowski again. I better learn from my mistakes last time. Don't take it too low here into 3 and 4. But I understand that I have way more grip than they do through that part of the track. And I'm going to try to swing low here. In fact, I'm going to use the cheater line there. Maybe entered a little late because I almost spun the car down there. Another big draft into 1 and 2. Get that throttle on to the outside of Brad K. Are we going to get there? Not quite. Not quite. Draft with Keselowski again. Swing to the outside. Try to get that clean air going into the corner. And Keselowski's a little bit slow off, but he's got the preferred inside line.
Still there?
I lifted off the gas just a little bit to use the cheater line there because I felt like he was going to push me up into the outside wall. So Brad Keselowski running a really smart race right now. I'm just going to swing just a little bit to the outside and try to cut to the inside, but he is defending very well right now. Brad Keselowski is. He's driving a really good race. And we'll try to get a lift early into the corner, try to get that run off of turn 4. Did not get it there to close in on Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson's just behind. About 1 second now is the gap. So the field's spreading out quite a bit after the first couple laps were quite tightly packed together. I just still can't pull up and pass Brad K. You can see how much faster he is on that straightaway. And clearly I'm much faster in the corners. If I could just get the right run, I think I could be by him. But you got to time it so well. Again, that's why I'm kind of praying for lap traffic right now, because that can kind of take away his preferred line or allow me to run the outside and actually have it be quite a bit faster than Keselowski. And here we go. That's a good run off of turn number 2. Can we pull the move off, though? No, because, again, we just didn't get enough of a run to be able to get the car down the back straightaway faster than Keselowski and beat him into turn 3. So we're going to go all the way around the outside, maybe a little too far to the outside, out of turn number 4 and all the way down the cheater line and back up on the racetrack. Can't quite get back to Brad Keselowski that time by. We'll see how fast I can take it into turn 2. Again, the car is sliding up the track. I'm assuming the front tires are starting to wear quite a bit the way I'm driving into the corners. Don't know how much more, how much longer we have to go till pit stop. So let's try to take a look at that. 10 laps to go on the fuel, and the tires are at 58%. So yeah, we're wearing the heck out of the front right there. As you would expect, being able to drive this fast, you're going to wear your tires out, but we're still just not getting quite to Keselowski. And I'm at least seeing lap traffic now, so this is going to be our opportunity here, as Johnson's still maintaining that 1 second gap. Now it's out to 1.1, so we're pulling away slightly, ever so slightly, the battle for the lead between myself and Keselowski. And now, again, lap traffic just ahead. We'll be into them within a couple laps, maybe even at the end of this lap, depending on how fast we run this next lap at. So swinging the car around in a yellow. Cars have crashed somewhere. Should I pit? I think I'm going to pit and try to take a strategy call. It's a risky maneuver, but I'm going to take a risk. Oh, it looks like Brad Keselowski took the bait. He came in with me, so the battle will be with Brad. You could maybe notice the game lag right before the green, or right before the yellow came out. That's a thing that happens in this game sometimes. So we're back to the green. Now we've got to be kind of careful here in the traffic, in the heavy traffic. But the key is going to be staying ahead of Mr. Keselowski, because he is the one we're fighting with. So down the back straightaway in the draft of Eric Jones. Oh, I've got a little bit of contact with Eric Jones. Not what I wanted to do. A little more contact with the 23 car. It looks like DiBenedetto was in that wreck. Whatever wreck happened, he was one of the cars involved with it. I had to get way down low because of Trevor Bayne. Come on, car. Well, now we're going to be in trouble here. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I didn't want to do that. At least the field will spread out a little bit. I was really worried about Trevor Bayne coming down there and hip checking me. Up, and we got another spin. Another spin. That was Tony Stewart. And somehow they saved it. So it looks like Kansas is going to be an absolute wreckfest from just all the craziness that's happened so far. But I've got to get back up to Brad Keselowski here. You can see just how much more pace I have over these lappers here. For these back of the Packers as I spin the 23 out. Hope that doesn't bring out the yellow, because that's not really what I need right now. Ah, of course, of course. Well, at least most of the other people are pitting, so that means I won't have to pit. In fact, Keselowski's pitting again. That's weird. Oh well. Alright, so we are starting on the outside of the front row with Eric Almirola just behind us. And here we go. The race is back on. We've got quite a bit of cars you wouldn't expect up at the front here, to be politically correct about it. So that may mean I'm in really good shape here if I can just clear Almirola through 1 and 2. We clear Almirola, and now we need to set sail here. We really need to set sail. So if we can really gap these guys, we're going to need to do that before our pit stop. We're going to have to come in on the green because of the pit strategy we chose, but right now we have absolutely got a huge gap, almost pulled out a second already on Almirola. Looks like Hamlin and Johnson are going to be the tough competition once they clear the traffic. So it's up to me now to not screw this up. Whoa, and we've got a yellow. So that's going to screw things up, but I think it's a godsend because it's going to allow me to pit under the yellow and not have to bring it down during the green flag. So let's do that. Okay, so starting at the back of the field, we know this kind of went badly the last time. Unfortunately, we're back on the outside lane. Actually, maybe fortunately, because I think we can run up there a little bit better than generally you can in like NASCAR 15, for instance. So let's see if the yellow will end up helping us or hurting us as we're coming up to 30 laps to go. And obviously up until this point in the corner generally we get left for dust, but now we're fanning out 3 wide down on the back straightaway here, and we're going to try to drive all the way in the extreme outside lane. Not quite the Larson line, but close enough. And so through the tri-oval, which is always such a... I'm always very uneasy with this AI through tri-ovals. But they didn't run into me that time. And we're already running... Actually, I would consider this the Tony Kanaan line. Not quite the Larson line, but, you know, halfway up the banking, making all the passes on an oval. So here we go. Running the Kanaan line. And now trying to get down to the bottom of Ryan Newman. And it looks like Tony Stewart running a very low line. We saw him almost get spun out earlier in the race. 29 laps to go. And we kind of slide it into turn 1. Looks like Johnson is still leading. So Jimmy the Juggernaut. Oops. Wow. Can't believe I saved that one. Thanks to Danica Patrick for being a true bro and keeping me from spinning out. I appreciate that, Danica. Mad props, brah. Oh, and we got a yellow anyway, even though it wasn't my fault. Not to quote Danica or anything. Alright, let's get back to racing. Some cars came into the pits, some did not, so we're going to restart in the 7th position underneath Danica Patrick this time. Keselowski's back in the lead, so we get to resume that fight if we can get up there to Brad K. But at least we're on the bottom this time, so if we get swarmed here, because our car's just not very good accelerating in 4th gear, as you can tell, we should be able to get back up there, though we're kind of boxed in right now. I almost slid up into Kane. That would be the second time within about 2 minutes of footage that I would have run into Kane, but thankfully I did not. Let's go to the outside. Try to get all the way around and try to set our sights on Brad Keselowski. Is Well, that's 3 wide. Almost trying to make it 4. That's Edwards making the big move down to the inside. I think he's going to be the fastest one in this little scrum. And I just homesteaded him. Oops, we're around 2. And we're around again. Thankfully, we got a yellow for that. And the damage was not as bad as I expected it would be. Thankfully, it's not NASCAR 15. When you're involved in an accident, you immediately go to the back. So we're restarting on point. The race is back on. So I'm going to just hold this bottom here with 20 laps to go. We will probably have to make one more stop, but I don't think anybody else is good to go to the end anyway, so it's not a big deal. We get to go flat out through 1 and 2. Oh boy. Okay. And this is going to be a huge wreck. And we got a yellow, thankfully. 14 laps of fuel. You know what? I'm going to pit and try to stretch it to the end. Okay, restarting 38th position. We got 38 cars to pass. A lot of cars pitted under that yellow. Was it the entire field? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, a lot of cars were caught up in that wreck. So who really knows how many cars can make it to the end. But regardless, we just gotta do what we gotta do, which is pass as many guys as possible. So these look like the guys, top of the guys that ended up pitting at the end of this segment there. So as long as we can get past Jimmy, I think we're going to be really good. But obviously, the more cars we pass, the less we have to worry about running towards the end of the race here. So obviously, lots of cars here. Larson is up top with me, running his own line. I got into Blaney there. Thankfully, didn't spin off of him. That would have really upset me. Going back to the outside. Just scraping the wall on the exit. That is so dangerous up there. To try to not get run into or run into the wall. And we are just running so dangerously right now. As you can see, Casey Kane really stunted my momentum there. And it's going to get worse because Tony Stewart is going to get up in there. Thankfully, Landon Castle saved that. So we don't have to worry about yellows just yet. And Kurt Busch is the leader. So we got to get up to Kurt Busch to be able to compete, contend for this win. So around the outside of Austin Dillon. Can we get there? Yes, we can. Now around, try to get around Danica Patrick. We bump drafted with her a little bit. To the inside with 13 laps to go. I'm not even going to look at the fuel because it's not going to matter because I'm not going to pit regardless of what happens. You know what, I'll look at it. Okay, 17 laps, we're good. We're good to the end. So, 2 cars. It's Keselowski and Busch to pass. I'm not concerned about Menard because I think we'll be by him very quickly here, assuming I don't screw this up, which is a possibility I can screw this up. A little bit of contact, a lot of contact. And Paul Menard was awfully dirty there, to be honest with you. Now Danica's going to get that run on the outside. Pull around briefly, but it's not going to be a big deal. So hopefully Kurt Busch does not get passed by Brad Keselowski there, because that is, as long as Keselowski is still held up, I think we've got a chance. But if Keselowski gets around Kurt Busch, it might be off to the races for him. And now we're going to go to the inside of Menard. I think we're finally going to get by Paul Menard, but just at the same time, Keselowski is pulling around Kurt Busch for the lead of the race. So it's going to come down to whether or not Brad K can make it on fuel. Kyle Larson's actually followed us up through the field. He's up to 5th. So a fantastic run for him. But it's all about whether or not I can come up here and challenge for this win. Got to use all the tricks in the book, and that includes running the cheater line here. 10 to go. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can pull it off here. Running very low on the track, as you do here at Kansas. Off of the second corner. Are we closing down on Kurt Busch? Not really yet. Kind of maintained the gap through, or down the back straightaway. Now we make up a couple tenths there through 3 and 4. I'm going to keep on the banking this time. We make up another tenth on Busch. We actually made up 2 tenths on Keselowski as well. So into 1 and 2. Don't run it's too extremely low, but as low as you can. There we go. We're really making up time on Kurt Busch. Keselowski not quite as much. We know Keselowski's able to run our pace. So within 0.6 of a second of Kurt Busch, we should be by him very soon, half a second. As we set off in pursuit, get that draft going on. 8 laps to go. Into 1 and out of 2. Try to get that draft off of Kurt Busch all the way down the back straightaway. And am I going to be able to clear him into turn 3? No. Had to get on the brakes, but this time we go to the outside of Kurt Busch. And is Busch going to race me clean? Yes, he is. Unlike Menard. And I'm not sure what to do here. I'm going to go to the outside, try to. And it was a good decision because we're going to pull around Kurt Busch. I think we're going to clear him. No, we're not. We're going to side draft down the back straightaway just a little bit, but I think I'll get him into turn 3 here this time. No, he's going to stay right there, side by side, and this time. And we just heard there's a wreck in turn 1. Is that going to bring out the yellow flag? Don't see any cars yet. Got to be very careful because you just don't know if there is a car down there somewhere. It's happened to me before. Watch a couple. The first season, at the first race at Bristol, there was Carl Edwards that drove backwards on the track. AI driver. So it's possible and it happens in this game, but this time it did not. So now we're trying to stay ahead of both Kurt Busch and now Kyle Larson is sneaking up into this fight with 5 laps to go. I did see a car peeling down the pit lane. Of course, that may be a car that's damaged or going to fall out of the race. We're 3 seconds behind Keselowski, so it's going to take a bit of a miracle at the moment. Again, it's going to take him having to come into the pits for me to win this race, I think. And it's also going to take me keeping both Kurt Busch and Kyle Larson behind, because you just don't know who is going to be able to make it and who is not going to be able to make it at the end of this race. And that is Ryan Newman coming out of the pits. So Newman was the one who had to come in late on in the going. As we slide the car just a little bit through 3 and 4. I am seeing lap traffic, but I don't know if we're going to get there to the back of them before the end of this thing. As I get into turn 3 once again, still losing time to Keselowski. So this may be a second place effort, unfortunately. I think if I hadn't got held up by Menard, I think that was the moment of the race where the tide turned. I didn't do it, I swear. But I hope you guys heard the siren, otherwise that joke didn't work. Oh, yellow, and this is going to change everything. Absolutely everything. I've still got 7 laps of fuel, so I'm good to go. I don't need to take tires. I'm not going to pit, and we're going to race Brad Keselowski for this win. All right, here we go. Coming down to it. Green-white checker. The first attempt. Here we go. Can we beat Brad Keselowski? We're side drafting him. We've got a really good run. A little bit of bumping and banging. We're in the lead. Now we just got to hold it. We were on old tires, remember, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to hold it around the outside. Larson's to the inside. Hamlin's down there as well. We're going to have to hold the outside here until turn 3. And there goes Hamlin to the inside. And Harvick. Ooh, the tires are really giving out on me. Maybe I should have gone in and taken tires Wow, are they really going to take a second place away from me? Oh well. Got to fight for it. Looks like Larson's probably got the best car, as we found out just a few laps ago, as he was really flying at the end of the last stint right before the yellow. But looks like right now we're in the 5th position, which is our last money position, as long as we can just keep ahead of Blaney. And it's going to be a close finish between Keselowski and Larson. It's going to be Keselowski taking the win. We'll take 5th. Alright, that's fine, I guess. So a 5th place finish, not too bad. It should have been 2nd, but obviously green-white checkers are going to green-white checkers. Let's see who was the cars out of the race. Newman, Reagan, and Elliott were all faced troubles at one point. So Keselowski wins in a close one over Kyle Larson. Let's take a look at some money, which is going to be pretty big here. 300 grand almost for 5th. 25 from Love says the primary sponsorship. That's starting to look like a pretty small sum of money there. As we go 21, 17, 32, 17, 50 again, and the big payday 81 from Quicken Loans for a payday of almost $500,000. What a fantastic job we did there. And then moving on to the point standings, it's going to be pretty good looking here as well, I'd say. All the way up to 13th. I don't know if we gained or lost anything there, but I think we just kind of maintained, which is fine with me. So let's head back to the race shop and see if there's anything else to take a look at. So from Kansas, we're going to move on to Dover, the AAA 400 Drive for Autism. $365,000 to win that one. I think we're going to be in really good shape because of the fact that it is a short track. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.